MWZ, the biggest success in the Zombies franchise for Call of Duty, in my opinion. Now, the reason I say this is due to the fact of the amount of players that are new to Call of Duty as a whole, as well as new to Zombies coming in and enjoying this game for its open world aesthetic, PvE only gameplay, as well as the diversity of the map and what you can do on such a big map when it comes to Zombies overall. Ditching the round-based gameplay was fantastic. It brought a lot of new players more interested into the game mode, and it honestly could have been a greater success than it is today. There's a few reasons why it had its downfall, and why this downfall was actually seen from the beginning and was bound to happen at some point. In today's video, we're going to be going over this. I'm not going to be bashing this game at all, guys. I just want to give you guys some points and some things to talk about and some interesting information specifically on Call of Duty, Activision, Treyarch, everyone behind the Zombies content, and the history of Zombies overall. I love MWZ. I still think it's a fantastic game, and currently in its state with what it offers, if you're a new player, it is a great game to get, and you will get a lot of enjoyment out of it. Whether you're playing with a squad, playing solo, it is a fantastic game, and it is fun across the board. For players who have been playing since launch, we know this is a different story because of the lackluster updates, the lack of content, the lack of new additional contracts, and diversity to the map after you've dumped hundreds of hours into the game. It gets boring, it gets stale, and it gets very repetitive over. But if we take a look at all the older zombie titles, and I'm not talking about World at War, the original Zombies experience that was initially launched, talking about some of the ones that branched off further after that year, Cold War Vanguards, titles like that. When it comes to Zombies, there was a specific gameplay loop. It was based off of rounds. You were stuck in a specific map. That map was decently sized. At the beginning, it was very small and tiny. You had to board up, you had to survive waves and progress and unlock different areas to access new perks, access the Pack-a-Punch machine, start Easter eggs, and get different wonder weapons. But if we look at the way Zombies has been since the beginning, there was not a lot of content initially added to any of these titles since the beginning. Since the game's focused on a small map with very minimal things needed to be added to it, there was no new guns. Sure, there was new Easter eggs, updates to existing Easter eggs, as well as new wonder weapons to obtain, but other than that, there was no new content initially brought to all these game modes. New maps did come out, but they were smaller. As you guys know, they're the size of roughly a multiplayer map, not like what we've seen with MWZ. This is why I think MWZ was bound to fail since the beginning. Treyarch, Activision, they were not ready for the surge of players and how well MWZ was received by the community. It did a lot better than I think they anticipated. I don't think everything we've seen with Season 2 and even Season 1 content was pre-planned. I think they're kind of kicking themselves in the butt right now. I think they're kind of trying to push content out, try to find new content to provide for this game mode, because I don't think they were prepared for the success that MWZ had since launch. And this is kind of the biggest point I wanted to go over. Now again, guys, I'm not bashing MWZ. I love the mode. I've dumped so many hours into it, but as I transition my content and go into different genres, different titles, I still will be covering MWZ. I just wanted to talk about the realistic truth about MWZ. Both development teams under Activision have never worked on a project this size. Sure, we have Firebase Z and Die Machina. We also have the Outbreak mode from Cold War. If you guys haven't played that, check it out. I made a video over Cold War. I think it's fantastic mode if you're into MWZ. It's kind of open world. You can pause the game at any point. It is round based, but it is more diverse in the ability to move around a map, drive vehicles, get into tanks even, and do certain objectives at your own pace. It's not like the classic Call of Duty Zombies, which, disclaimer here, I love the classic Call of Duty Zombies. I wouldn't say it's my favorite, but I do enjoy it. I'm not bashing that game mode at all. All in all, the development team was not prepared for the success of MWZ. They were not ready to take on a full open world Zombies experience and dish out enough content to keep player base at bay and excited to continue playing the game. We're not prepared for it. We are going to get updates in the future. We're going to get added additional content to the story. Story's going to expand, but as we know, we're not going to get any new weapons. We're not going to get any new zombie variants or perks. Nothing else is going to be added to the game other than different POIs in the form of Aether Rifts, well as expanded Easter eggs, even though these Easter eggs in comparison to earlier Call of Duty Zombies titles are very minuscule to say the least. The development team all in all was not prepared for MWZ, and I don't think their plan ever since its inception was to carry out this mode into a new Zombies experience that's going to continue down the line into further Call of Duty. Maybe they're going to try it again, but as you guys know, MWZ is very much based off of DMZ. They tried it once, the community loved it, it did very well, but they are not going to push that mode either. That mode came out with one Call of Duty, and that is it. We didn't see it again in the new Call of Duty. In exchange of DMZ, we got MWZ. And even though a lot of players are pushed and enjoying the game mode, this is Activision, guys. This is kind of how the development team works. They are not going to be pushing the content, and it does make sense from their standpoint in a way because their biggest bread and butter is multiplayer and Warzone. Warzone dishes in the most money as well as the most eyes on the content when it comes to the titles. Warzone has competitive modes. A lot of streamers and content creators make content revolving around that mode, and Warzone really is their main mode. Back in the day, it was multiplayer. They had great campaigns, and then they had a zombies mode. Now that Warzone is now the bread and butter and the front runner of Call of Duty, we are not going to be seeing a lot of changes with the MWZ across the board. Now, I'm not saying MWZ is never going to get updates, but the updates we are going to get are going to be very lackluster, to say the least. They're not going to be fleshed out fully. They're not going to be fully implemented in a way to expand the mode, expand the map, expand the story. It's going to keep us playing for just a little bit. And then we're going to finish the content. We're going to be back to square one. They have already moved on. As you guys know, Treyarch has backed off of the development process of MWZ, and they're moving on to a new Call of Duty title, which is Gulf War, which is exciting. But I do wish they really pushed this open world zombies experience because I think it is the best experience in zombies. I love zombies. I've been a long-time zombies fan. I think the open world aspect of it, the amount of players in the mode, is a great way to go about it. I wish they kind of did it a little bit like Outbreak, to where it was kind of round-based instead of time-based, to where we can stay in the map indefinitely if we wanted. The zombies continue to progressively get harder. That would have been a better way to go about it, instead of giving us a 45-minute timer where we're just rushing the entire time and then we have to leave and start over. All in all, guys, I could be wrong, but I think this is the end of MWZ and the end of this Call of Duty's life cycle. I know that a lot of players who are playing multiplayer, who are playing Warzone, are super, super happy with the updates and the way things are implemented. MWZ is not getting this treatment. It is a game mode they are not focusing on. And again, I love MWZ. I'm not bashing anybody. As you guys know, here on the channel, we stay optimistic and we try to be positive. I just want to give some insight, give some truth, be transparent with you guys. Let me know what you guys think of MWZ. Are you guys still having a blast with it? And if you guys have stopped playing the game, what new games are you interested in? What games are you playing? I'm thinking about picking up Helldivers 2, primarily as a solo player. A little nervous about that title, but I've asked around the internet and a lot of people are saying that it is still doable solo, and you can always queue up with randoms and multiplayer, which is fantastic. I've also been playing Fortnite, guys. I know that's weird. I haven't played Fortnite in like 5 years. I'm absolutely having a blast with it. With no skill-based matchmaking, I'm actually being able to enjoy the title and actually have a good time and not just get creamed the entire game. I hope you guys are doing well. I know my content is very lacking right now, but I've been super busy with life. Honestly, gaming right now is a little dull for me, so I kind of took a step back. I appreciate every single one of you guys. If you enjoyed this video, drop a like on it. And as always, guys, stay happy, stay hyped, and have a beautiful day.